Thank you so much for joining us at Making Natural History. And that is what we've been doing all day, celebrating the 25th anniversary of an extraordinary event that took place here in Eastbourne, a town on the south coast, for those of people overseas who are not familiar with this place. It's a town about 60 miles south of London, and it has the most fabulous environment here, downs and marsh and sea. And we're very, very lucky to have a whole cohort of population that engages with that environment. And 25 years ago, there were 12 children who came together and said that they wanted an international conference because they were very concerned about the waste that they could see that was beginning to clutter up this amazing environment. And these 12 people came up with this idea to link up with 92 countries, and they invited 850 young people to join them. Now, today in our warm-up, I'm very pleased to say that we've got Annabelle here. Annabelle, would you like to unmute yourself? Annabelle is now the next generation of young environmentalists who was unaware of what this festival was about. Annabelle, weren't you? Could you tell us as what you learned about what happened here 25 years ago?
Hi, I've become involved with today's session after hearing about the Original Conference in 1995 and reading through the list of challenges the children made. I was sad to learn that so many of them have just been ignored. Children need adults to use their power and influence to make positive changes to the environment. And part of an adult's job is to do what's best for their children. Part of this is to do their best to protect the planet. I know that not everyone's lucky enough to live somewhere like Eastbourne, but everyone should be encouraged to explore and look after their local area and find joy in the natural world around them. I also think that it's really important that children understand the impact that their choices and actions have on the planet, which could be as simple as choosing to throw a used piece of paper in a recycling bin or taking their litter home. Adults need to provide children with the opportunity to be in nature and with the skills to conserve and protect it. Lots of children are worried about the damage that has already been done to the environment and the impact it will have on their future. This week at our school, each child made a bird from recycled materials and came up with a slogan or message to represent some of their concerns or suggestions about environmental issues. Here is my bird.
That's wonderful, Annabelle. Can you share with us what it says on there?
I've written the solution is less pollution, because I know that if there were less pollution, then our planet would be in far better condition. Yeah,
there are some more birds. There's more than one, isn't there? How many birds and how many pupils are there at your school?
Around 300, and each pupil made one. So there's about 300 birds we have here.
Right, okay. So I think it would be really lovely if we could share some of those messages to us, because those young people would like to be with us if they could, but they can't. So they're going to send, they've flown here, haven't they? And they're bringing us their messages through you.
Yeah, so this is one of them.
There's a planet. Looks like Saturn. It's lovely. And there's green and there's blue. What does that say? What does it say on the green wing? Can you read it for us?
Mm-hmm. It says, we borrow the earth from our children.
And on the blue wing?
On the blue wing, it says, nature is a miracle that we depend on.
It is a miracle. It is, absolutely. And I'm sure I can see lots of nodding heads going on, which really endorses that the wise soul who wrote that. Can you read another one?
Yeah.
Okay, let's have what does that one say?
Reuse the past, recycle the present, and save the future.
Right, there's some very wise things. I hope you're writing this all down, everybody who's going to be speaking later this evening. And let's have a couple more. One more. A little bit higher, my love. Just, that's it. Lovely. Okay, what does that one say?
Go green, there's no planet B.
Okay, can we say that again? Because I didn't quite hear that one. Nice and slowly.
Go green, there's no planet B.
My goodness, we've got the slogans, haven't we? This is fantastic. Go green, no planet B. These are very powerful messages. Today, Annabelle, there's been a lot of words, hasn't there? You've heard many people speaking. What has caught your imagination when you heard these people, whether they be in Australia or in England? What stuck out for you?
Well, I kind of never really realised before how many kind of other people felt the same way about the environment as me, and how many other people like willing to do something about it.
Yeah. And what about your mother? Because she's with you. She's an amazing lady, isn't she? She's a teacher at your school. Can we see your mum? Can you introduce us?
Oh no, I didn't know you were going to pull me in. Hello.
I was going to pull you in because, of course, you're here standing in for Mike Fairclough, because I think maybe your head teacher has got caught up in trying to get into the waiting room. So I suppose in the last few minutes of this warm-up, it's just what message do you think the teachers at your school might have for all of us here? As Annabelle was representing the pupils, have you got a message that might be representing all the teachers, because you've been listening too?
Well, I think that all teachers these days, we're used to teaching about environmental issues, and we love passing on this enthusiasm to the children that we teach. And it's actually incredible, like you can see from the birds, the ideas that the children have. And lots of the time, it's in fact the children coming up with these statements and slogans that really teach us something and make us realise that we really need to do better for them.
Yes, so I'd like to finish the session before I hand over to Floella. Could you choose maybe three birds of your own, and could you read those messages that are really the messages from the teachers who've been teaching the children and caring and supporting those teachers? Because we must thank all of you for being able to release this wonderful creativity from the children.
Yes, of course. I'm going to choose some at random. So I've got this one.
Oh, that's a pretty one, that one. Yes.
And this one says, time spent among trees is never time wasted. And just reading that now just fills me with joy, because it's so important that children are taught to enjoy spending time in nature, because of course a love for nature will lead to a wish to preserve nature for the future, which is exactly what we're kind of here to talk about. So I really love that one.
That's a lovely one. Yeah, that's a really lovely one. When you go back to school, Annabelle, go and find that young pupil and just say what a pretty bird that was, and what a powerful message that that young pupil communicated. The second one.
Let's have a look at this one.
It's a quite different shape, isn't it? When I think about young architects and young engineers that might be emerging out of West Rise, what does this message say?
This one says, I feel angry when I see waste, when I see people throwing away things we could use. So this child's obviously thought a lot about waste and recycling, and perhaps they've noticed that people are throwing away things that we could have reused in another way. So again, another completely different but equally powerful message from one of our children.
Yeah. And that's the first time we've heard the word anger used all day, which is quite interesting, isn't it? And very quickly, the last one. Thank you, Annabelle.
I've got...
And Lara, yeah. Yes, nice spotty one, that one.
It's a nice spotty one, and it says, do your share for clean air. So perhaps this child has been thinking, I don't know, about transport or energy, because that's something that we talk about the way we would use, what kind of energy people would use. So perhaps they've taken that as a thing that they want to focus on. So yeah, incredible messages there from the children at West Rise.
Well, thank you, West Rise, for giving us your messages today.